kindly start by first introducing yourselves, and the rest will flow smoothly. We want to wish you the very best. And in case of any feedback, any communication, the chat boxes will be open. Kindly feel free to write down, and then the interpreter will be able to interpret it to them, because our session is going to be multilingual. So once again, in the event that you want to raise a question, kindly write it down so that the interpreter will be able to get it and pass it on to the presenters. We wish you the very best, presenters. Introduce yourselves as we move on. All the best. Welcome.
Что ж, мы можем начинать. Представьте, пожалуйста, себя. Наш хост сегодняшний желает вам хорошей презентации, приветствует вас на этой конференции и просит, если будут какие-то вопросы, так как у нас сегодняшняя сессия проходит в формате нескольких языков, то основное количество вопросов будет адресовано в чат, то есть что можно будет их все переводить. Можете начинать.
Доброе время всем, добрый вечер, добрый день, у кого какой пояс. Мы рады всех приветствовать на нашей встрече. И эта встреча из центра Сибири и из Красноярска. Поэтому мы сейчас хотим еще представить сначала себя. Я представляю свою коллегу Радоманскую Елену. Она преподаватель нашего педагогического колледжа. Меня зовут Максимова Людмила, я преподаватель тоже педагогического колледжа. И наши соведущие, пожалуйста, хотим представить умниц, красавиц. Это Хромогина Дарья и Ставропольцева Полина. Они преподаватели тоже нашего колледжа, плюс они еще участники фольклорного коллектива «Шкатулочка». И они же будут переводить то действие, которое мы будем вам демонстрировать. Мы очень рады, что они согласились нам сегодня помочь, поскольку мы английским не владеем, а наши девушки по-английски говорят, и, соответственно, будет сразу все понятно, что мы хотим вам сообщить. Но Сибирь, где мы, собственно, сейчас находимся, это абсолютно особое место, которое концентрирует в себе самые разнообразные народные традиции и культуры. Само это место в силу своего расположения, природы, оно позволяло людям дружить, оно их к этому подталкивало, сплачивало. И на территории Красноярского края ныне проживает 159 национальностей. Это и коренные народы, это и те люди, которые приехали из европейской части России, из Европы. Это люди, переехавшие сюда когда-то в далекие годы из Поволжья, с Кавказа, из Средней Азии, из Японии, Кореи и так далее. То есть очень обширная география, и всех этих людей объединила Сибирь. И мы сейчас хотим презентировать вам фильм, который «Приветствие». Он делался совместно с преподавателями и со студентами первого курса нашего колледжа. Но сначала представим слово девушкам, чтобы перевели все, что мы тут наговорили, и потом уже подключим фильм «Приветствие».
So, greetings from the center of Siberia. We are glad to invite you here and to see you here on our workshop that is dedicated to the traditions of Siberian region. We are Lyudmila Sergeyevna Maximova, a teacher at Krasnoyarsk State Pedagogical College #1, and Elena Igorevna Radomanskaya. We will show you today some videos that are connected with our topic. They are made with the help of students and teachers of our college and our folk group, Shkatulochka, that that exists in our college for a very, very long time and always helps us with everything.
Siberia is a special place which concentrates the diversity of national traditions and culture. 159 nationalities live on the territory of Krasnoyarsk region now. They're indigenous people, settlers from the European part of Russia, peoples of Volga region, Caucasus, and Eastern regions.
Запускаем трансляцию фильма. разнообразия и природы, и людей. И мы приглашаем вас сегодня на реконструкцию традиционных народных гуляний и передаем слово нашим коллегам.
This is our diversity, and now we'll, as a co-hosts, will lead you through this workshop and through our tradition.
A large amount of different peoples and nationalities have come in Siberia and have brought their own authentic culture. They lived together, worked together, and of course, they exchanged their traditions, rituals, songs, and of course, experience. And in a short time, there appeared a special mixture of culture and experience, the Siberian culture.
All the traditional festivities in Russia are connected, and of course in Siberia, are connected with the solar culture and with the nature. So the original festivities were celebrating the longest day of the year, the shortest day, the equality of day and night. And all those days found its reflection in the traditions. So it symbolized the change of seasons, and nature was considered as a human being with its own stages of life. Spring is a childhood, summer is youth and maturity, autumn is oldness, and winter is death, tranquility, and getting ready for the next rebirth.
Each calendar festivity has some must-have elements. There are special songs, dances, and ritual actions. In each season, these elements never repeated, which means, for example, that spring songs were never sung in summer, as well as dances and rituals were considered to be done not only in a special time, but also in a special place.
So Siberian vast spaces, as you have seen in the video, are covered with trees. And that's why lots of ritual actions that we have and that you will see today are connected with trees. In nearly all the cultures, a tree is considered a storage of life energy. For example, fir tree is always green, and that's why in Siberia it is considered a symbol of winter, because it is alive. In spring, it is a willow because it blooms the first. In summer, it is a birch. A birch in Siberia is a symbol of vitality. It is beautiful, it is flexible, and its leaves hold tight on its branches, even if you dry them and steam them back thereafter.
The cycle of summer festivities is opened by green Yuletide. In the Orthodox tradition, it is connected with Pentecost. In Russian, it is Troitsa, or Holy Trinity. All the ritual actions usually took place outdoors, and in summer, people finally had an opportunity to leave their houses without wearing huge warm clothes, and they finally could meet and have some leisure time all together. Popular leisure activity of this time of the year is around dancing, and in Russian it is хоровод.
So хоровод is one of the most ancient ritual actions connected with the solar cult. Sun is the symbol of life, growth, development, and eternity. So we will see the horovods today, and all the beauty of horovod patterns is better seen from above. Because in there were considered higher powers who were addressed the collected message of the horovod dancers. So horovod patterns run one into another, and it symbolizes the movement of life and the connection between generations. So now we will see some horovods that lived in Siberia and that we still dance on some festivities.
One of the most popular patterns in Horovod, it is a circle pattern. So it is inspired by the solar cult, solar system. People danced Horovod in fields and meadows. Participants took each other's hands and moved around slowly and smoothly, in rows, in pairs, in chain, in spiral, and in some other patterns. Sometimes they even stood in lines opposite each other or started moving faster or slower. All the Horovod patterns were inspired by images of nature. For example, a movement of a snake, a shape of a horse rein, or a shape of cabbage.
Or maybe even the shape of the universe as people imagined it. So they considered it spiral, and they imagined it and they showed it in their dances. Is called spiral, and so this is an image of the universe, a picture of it. All the Horovod patterns are very easy, and they allow people to join the dance any moment. The more people take part in a Horovod, the better the pattern is seen from above, and the mightier the message is. This pattern is called cabbage. It is okay if a person has never done such dance and doesn't know what to do. Sometimes the newcomers make mistakes, but those who are aware will help and show what to do and show if something goes wrong.
This pattern is called wattle fence, like braided fence. It's quite an unusual pattern.
Are always mistaken for only a round dance when people just go rounds holding each other's hands. But as you see now, horovodies have a lot of different patterns. We cannot show all of them because all the regions and all the settlements had their own patterns that they liked most, and each person could invent his own pattern of horovod and teach everyone how to do it. It was very, very easy, and all the people happily followed. So that's why we can only show you some patterns that lived in Siberia for a long time. Of course, nowadays it is much easier to dance horovods in the streets, and we even dance them during some big city festivities. But when there is a lot of people, really lots of them, it is much easier, as you see now, to dance it only in rounds, because the more people, the more difficult to do some difficult patterns.
Okay, so let's talk about some pair dances. Siberian traditions didn't allow young girls and men to spend time together alone. They only could do it during some special occasions, which were called вечерка. It is a special occasion, special fest for young people. On these events, young people could meet, communicate, and dance in pairs. This means that they could meet their future partner during these events. And one of the popular pair dances was ручеек. Ручеек, it is a stream. This world, okay. The patterns of such dance, they all remind of a stream.
Unfortunately, nowadays nobody knows how the patterns of that dance called. We only know how they were danced, but no names. We can only think that about their names. We'll name some of them a bit later. This pattern is usually called boats because the pairs look like boats floating on the stream or maybe on the surface of the water.
On one side, there used to be men. There were no strict rules of dancing, and in different regions and even in different settlements, there were different popular patterns. In the end of a dance, it was usual to come to the musician and go to him for all the pairs. By this action, the dancers said thanks for a person who didn't dance but who helped them enjoy this time. And though their traditions were very strict, in all the cases that were connected with young men and women, it was okay for the last pair and for the last girl of this pair to kiss the musician on cheek to say thanks to him. Okay. In summer, birch was used to make a very interesting ritual, which is called kumlение. Only young unmarried girls took part in it. The girls agreed in advance to be partners in this ritual. They made an ark with birch branches, made birch crowns. Two girls came under the ark from the opposite sides, took off their crowns, kissed each other in cheeks 3 times through the crowns, and went together holding each other hand in hand. And this ritual was considered as a pledge of friendship and mutual help. After the ritual, friends called each other kuma and became best friends forever. It was a very heavy sin to offend your kuma or deny her any help. The main purpose of the ritual for girls is to live in peace and harmony together.
Давай, кома, поклонимся, поклонимся. Душа с душой, душа с душой.
Here we can see how the ark was made of birch branches.
Расходились, Что зелен, зелен, ой, что зелен, зелен. Я в лесе еду, зеленей дуба, ой, зеленей дуба. Во всем лесе что милей, дружка, ой, что милей, дружка. Во всем свете милей батюшки, ой, милей батюшки, родней матушки. Я на отца, я на мать, ой, я на отца, я на мать. Я могу забыть, она милого, ой, она милого, не забудь.
So very nice ritual for young girls. So a lot of some rituals were for girls only, and sometimes men were not even allowed to be near them. So the very beautiful example of such ritual is the decorating the birch. So people believed that in summer mermaids, rusalki, went out of water and came to the forest and sat on birch branches. Rusalki were young girls who died very young and unmarried, and for people in those times, it meant that they didn't achieve their main life goal. So the Rusalki were friends for young girls and they were enemies for men. So that's why the men were not allowed to even come to the forest because people considered that Rusalki could kill them. But girls could ask them for help and advice. In exchange for the help and advice, girls gave them gifts that were valuable for them. That could be ribbons, rings, earrings, and necklaces, or everything beautiful that girls had. So, and girls left their gifts on birch branches, and they believed that Rusalki will take them a bit later, maybe in the night.
Катись, катись, загаркое солнце, зеленый гау. Давно, дека Танечка, давно не хотел.
So I have the question, is it the same group of young people doing the singing too? Sometimes, sometimes you see people on the video and you can hear them on the audio and they are the same. Sometimes it is the same group, the same band, but maybe different participants because the recording was made maybe, sometimes earlier, sometimes later. But of course, all the people that are in the video can sing all those songs, no matter what happens. Okay, and after the girls have decorated the birch, they have to drown it to bring the gifts to the mermaids. They usually drown these decorated birch branches in the nearest river. They believe that the water will bring the gifts and their desires will come true and the water flow away and wash off their griefs and fears and difficulties.
Ой, ты дубочек зелененький, зелененький, не доберешься спогинуть на море горя спогинуть. На море дарю запотопала к себе дубочка пригукала. Ой, ты дубочек зелененький, зелененький, не
So for this ritual, young men and women brought the birch to the nearest river with songs. And so as you can hear, those songs were very sad and slow because they symbolized the death of something, maybe the death of birch, and they buried it ritually with their sins and griefs in the river.
Клочок неба я возгребный, место, где коса молодцем не имея воды. Не имея веры, о, молодца столько, веры, как на моря петь.
So, as we think a lot of you have noticed, nearly all the girls on the video wear green crowns. The crowns are made with birch. So, the crowns were widely used in spring and summer rituals, and sometimes women even wore it during the harvest ritual. So crowns were made from flowers, from trees, from birch branches in Siberia mostly. And they had primarily the protective function. They were considered to protect a person from all the evil and from all the bad thoughts. Crown took all the bad things in it. And after the ritual, the girls, could wash everything off them with drowning the crown in the nearest river. Sometimes girls even made wishes to find a partner and get married, possibly happily married in this year. So now we will see this.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, just a second. We're experiencing some technical issues. So, thank you. So, we give birth to our host.
Great.
Вы увидели небольшую часть тех народных традиций, которые представлены именно в Сибири.
You have just seen only the small part of all the traditions that we have in Siberia.
Которые собирались от всех народов, которые здесь жили и которые приезжали сюда жить.
And these traditions were all collected from the peoples who lived there and who came there to live.
И, естественно, эти традиции, обряды, они передавались из поколения в поколение. Вот чтобы дошли до наших дней и сохранились, то сейчас этим как раз занимаются энтузиасты фольклора, традиций народных. И наш ансамбль «Шкатулочка» – это как раз результат такой кропотливой работы руководителя этого ансамбля Любови Харченко. Мы передаем ей слово. Это тот уникальный человек, который собрал все это воедино.
So, if the traditions came from generation to generation, and nowadays enthusiasts keep the traditions for us to see them and maybe to bring them next to our children. So here we happily ask our head of folk group, Lyubov Evgenievna Harchenko. She is the keeper of those traditions, and she teaches our students, and not only students, but maybe also people who want what our ancestors did, how they did them, and so we keep the tradition thereafter.
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья! Я очень рада пообщаться на расстоянии, тем более, что тема нашего разговора – это народная традиция.
So, hello to your friends. I'm very glad to talk to you even in distance. Moreover, that's why because the topic for today is folk traditions.
Те традиции, которые мы вам показали, наверняка есть во всех народах. Вождение хороводов, общение, танцы, и это именно то, что нас сближает.
So we showed you our traditions, and we think that nearly all the peoples in the world have the same traditions: dancing, singing, playing games, communicating with each other.
Rituals.
So some rituals may be even the same.
Я свою миссию вижу в том, чтобы сохранять эти традиции и передавать их молодому поколению, потому что бабушки уже почти ничего не помнят, и мы выросли вне этих традиций. Я думаю, что они возобновятся.
So my mission is to keep the traditions and give them to younger people. Because we lived out of those traditions, because our grandmothers, most of them, remember nothing about it, and if we don't keep them, maybe later the traditions will die. So we hope that they will live for a long time.
Мы готовы ответить на вопросы в рамках того, что вы сейчас увидели.
We are ready to answer the questions about our workshop. Мы думаем, традиции в надежных руках.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you so much, our presenters, for this particular workshop. And we want to warmly appreciate even the efforts done to fetch it all, get all those video clips and consolidate them into one document. As you may have noted, there's a lot of feedback that you can notice in the chat box. There's a lot of feedback in the chat box. And I had requested our interpreters to kindly make sure that they interpret that information or the feedback that we have to the presenters. From my end here, one of the key things that I noted is that when we engage our client groups in community development initiatives, we always insist and say, make sure that you don't leave out, you don't miss that emotional touch. The change that you need to bring about must involve them. And then what a better way to involve them emotionally if it were not to make use of their traditions, because those traditions identify them. Those traditions give them meaning. Those traditions also give them a sense of belonging. And what you have shared is therefore a replica of what can be done in different community settings. May I don't know whether there's any other person with any feedback that can be shared from the floor, please. Any other feedback? If you have, kindly raise up your hand and I'll be able to see it and give you that opportunity so that you can air it out. You're most welcome. Any feedback, any question, please don't hesitate to use any language. Even if we use Russian, our presenters will understand, and I'm sure they will interpret it. Yes, please. Yeah, Fiona, I give you this opportunity.
Thank you. I just want to say that was a lovely presentation of culture. I love culture. I love history and traditions. I love costumes and creating beautiful costumes. When the costumes are being made, is this something that everyone does together? Do young people and old people come together to do that?
Yes, we make the costumes all together, and Любовь Evgenievna, she teaches us how to make these costumes, how to do it, how to sew, how to knit. She helps us to make these costumes.
So usually each participant of the group makes costume for herself or himself. For the costume to suit a person for the first, and the main purpose is to learn how to do this, what our ancestors did, and what they wore, and what effort it took them to make their own clothes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, could there be anything else, please? Any other feedback? Sorry for the noise in my background. Probably you are getting it, but it's going to end soon. Charity Kielu, your hand is up. Are you saying something?
Yeah, thank you. Just want to appreciate the beautiful presentations. And I just wanted to ask one question. Apart from song and dance, which you are using to pass on indigenous knowledge, are there other avenues that they are using also maybe to pass this traditional culture and skills? Thank you.
People use games and different rituals to pass the tradition from one generation into another. There are no written sources, no, of course, no videos, and nothing else for us to learn something. Only oral tradition and oral culture. I hear, I learn, I show next.
Okay, thank you so very much. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, Anna Clark, please, karibu.
Thank you very much. And the background noise here has gone, so I can speak. I just wanted to say to Lyudmila and Elena and to Polina and Daria, thank you so much. It's lovely to see both of you again, and I look forward to seeing you in Ireki next year, and I hope to meet Daria and Polina, and of course the very special keeper of traditions. I hope to meet you too. It's been a wonderful workshop and a wonderful way to finish this part of the conference. So thank you very, very much. Spasibo. And wonderful. Thank you.
Мы будем рады все это вживую провести, если вы к нам приедете в гости.
We would be very glad to show everything as a live action, but it is very, very difficult. So just hope to see you in person too.
And I look forward to dancing.
Okay, thank you so much, Anna Clark. Right, that's good. Yes, anyone else? Anyone else? Was there a hand that I saw? Yes, please, welcome.
I have a question. Thank you so much for these beautiful videos, for your beautiful costumes, for this spirit of nation. We can all enjoy it here. And I have a question for young girls, Polina and Daria. I want to ask you, how did you find this desire to become a keeper of traditions of your nation?
Good question.
It is mostly about emotions that you get while singing, while dancing, while communicating with other young find people who really love to do this.
And moreover, it is very, very interesting to understand that people lived in such a way. They did it all the time, and it was their everyday life. Today, for us, of course, it is very unusual, but for some people not. Sometimes Daria, I, and our students even wear costumes to work, and we think that it is okay to include those traditions into our everyday life. It is very interesting for us.
Wow, this is very beautiful and very inspiring, and it is obvious that you really love this process, that you really enjoy it. And if we have time, I want to ask one more question. Does someone from your family, from your friends included to this process? I mean, does they are involved to this process of keeping the traditions?
Of course, in our band, we are all friends, and of course we do it all together.
A lot of people found their husbands or wives in our band, so that means that really lots of families are included there. A lot of our participants had their weddings according to all the traditions, and they celebrate nearly all the festivities in a traditional way. And of course, they invite the friends, and they show to their families everything. So there are really lots of people involved.
Thank you, girls. Thank you for all of your presentations. Thank you for this inspiration. It was very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think I have locked out any other person with any feedback, but we cannot ignore we can't forget the feedback that we have from Maria Monteni from Portugal. She has really appreciated the presentation, and she acknowledges the role of folk on keeping folk alive in the community. So that is feedback from Portugal, from Maria Monteni, who is excited about your presentation. Colleagues, unless there is any other feedback, if you don't have anything else, allow me now to close this particular workshop. Thank you so very much, and hope to see you some other time, and we shall all enjoy ourselves. Thank you, and have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yeah.